Hello, and welcome to ThreatTraq Essentials. We're going to take a look at some everyday cybersecurity lessons that we can learn from this week's ThreatTraq stories. Matt Kaiser is here with me. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, Don. How's it going?
Great. Let's talk about the two stories we had on the show this week. The first one you brought to us was about some new malware related to the whole SolarWinds incident, and it's malware that goes to great lengths to hide itself. Tell me about that.
Right. So Symantec put out a report talking about this malware that they're calling Raindrop, which is named very closely to another type of malware that's been known before as part of this campaign called Teardrop. And they are similar, but this seems to be designed to allow an attacker to move within a target network. And it goes to very interesting lengths to hide itself. And in particular, it pretends to be 7-zip, which a lot of folks will know is a open source archive extractor and compressor tool, a lot like WinZip or other compression tools. So it basically steals a lot of the code from that. And when it gets compiled, it looks a lot like 7-zip. It also does a lot of interesting tricks to hide the actual malware portion of the malware and then loads itself into memory. So there's no real malware file, the way that we would think of like an executable. There's the fake 7-zip and then the tiny portion of that gets loaded into memory and runs from there. So they're doing a lot of interesting tricks here. I think ultimately what most users should take away from this is that there's more indicators of compromise that if you were searching in your network to see if you were affected by this, you should probably go out and search for these indicators as well. I also suspect this is not the last that we've heard of this campaign. I would expect to hear more details over the coming weeks and possibly months.
And Karen brought us a story about some Chrome plugins that are stealing data through Facebook. And tell me what's going on there.
Sure. So Facebook is actually taking legal action against the creators of 4 different plugins for Chrome, because these plugins, when they're installed in the browser, will scrape information from a user's Facebook profile and also try and obtain other information about that user as they use the browser. And I think Facebook is justified in doing this. It's something that not a lot of folks consider when they install a plugin, is that software then has access to anything that they do in their browser, and whether that's good or bad. I mean, the sorts of things that a plugin is supposed to be able to do, the reason you would install a plugin is to extend the functionality of your browser, make it do things that it couldn't do before. Unfortunately, given the privileged position that a plugin has, a lot of nefarious things can also be done to the users of those plugins.
So what advice can we give people, not just about this plugin, but about all browser plugins?
I think the best advice we can give is be careful what plugins you install. Take a look at them, try and see if they are generally rated, positively or negatively. Keep an eye out for the plugins that you do use, see if there's any news about them, because unfortunately what we do hear sometimes is that someone will develop a piece of software like a plugin and then it will change hands. Someone else will pay for ownership of that plugin, and then extra functionality will be added that was not part of the deal when the first owner created it, and sometimes that's malicious. In this case, these do seem to have been created intentionally, maliciously, right out of the gate. But it's something to consider, Just because it's in the plugin store for your browser does not necessarily mean that it's been vetted by anybody. So just be aware of that.
Well, that's some great advice, Matt. Thanks for being here this week, and thank you for all that advice. If you want to keep up on great advice like this, please like and subscribe below. And if you want to take a deeper look into any of these stories, click on the playlist below. We'll see you next time.